Hi there, it's Toby from Divorce Lifestyle Design. The topic of this week's video message for you is to address some comments and questions that I've had on the community this week around the idea of relationships with our ex and relations with our ex and how we manage to communicate, how supportive they may be, how disruptive they may be, and in terms of how our intention to thrive and our intention to make good on our promises to ourselves, to have a great life and to be the best person we can be, isn't often that simple. It's not always a case that we can ignore all outside influences. I guess the obvious point is that in a divorce or in a separation, there is going to be acrimony, there is going to be difficulty. No matter how amicable you are, how friendly the split may be, there is always going to be some difficulty that drove you apart in the first place, whether that was a simple growing apart over time or a catastrophic event, infidelity or whatever. So the net effect is there's always going to be difficulty and hardship to deal with. So I guess the key thing is really how you go about managing that. Certainly from my perspective, I'm very lucky and I enjoy a very amicable and cooperative relationship with my ex-wife now. She's married again, so am I, but we've co-parented our kids for over 10 years. But it wasn't always that way. It didn't just happen that way overnight, even though we didn't really have a catastrophic event that drove us apart. We divorced, we had our issues with each other and we worked through them, but we worked through them separately, and then ultimately realised that we wanted to put aside our difficulties for the benefit of raising our kids together. So I use that as an example just to say that it can be possible, but the key thing that I want to drive out of that is that what you really need to do is focus. So obviously we get more of what we focus upon in life. If you're focusing on the difficulty, if you're focusing on the argument and on the aggression, on the issues that drove you apart, then really that you're never going to move on from that point. If alternatively you're actually able to focus on the life that you aspire to achieving, then that's probably more likely what you're going to do. You're going to achieve that life. If your ex isn't cooperative in that plan, if they don't want to support you, they don't want to co-parent, or they do want to co-parent and it's not appropriate for them to do so, then it's really down to you to manage that. But you focus on the fact that you've made a plan that's applicable to your life and the best thing for you and for your kids if you have them, and you drive forward on that basis, and you don't focus on the negativity, you don't focus on the past, you focus on living in the now and on your aspiration for the future, which is of course to thrive. So hopefully you've found some of that easy. I know it's not as easy as all that and just saying it's going to happen and therefore it then happens and lands in your lap. I will send out some further articles about the topic of how you move on, how you deal with difficult exes, etc. Later on today. In the meantime, I hope that you're having a great week. I hope you have a great weekend ahead, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So until then, I hope you carry on thriving and not just surviving. Thanks very much and have a great day. Bye bye.